Hello guys, welcome back to another video in our 3D print series. Today we are going to be looking at the pallet fork that we 3D printed and seeing is there anything that we can improve on it. Well, here's our 3D print and let's start with the obvious. There's clearly something missing from this part. Unfortunately, when I was removing the support material from this part, I broke off the right hand fork if you're looking at it from the tractor side, and that's probably because the print probably didn't go perfectly. You can see on the back here the little support pins haven't formed properly either, and that's because I was playing around with the support material and I guess I just didn't get it right this time. The right hand fork was so low that the supports and the raft had all sort of molded into one, and you pretty much just had a block of material stuck to that right fork. So it's not that surprising that it broke off when I was trying to remove that material. But that's all part of the prototyping process, and of course just because the part broke doesn't mean that we didn't learn anything from the print. When we look at our part, first thing that's pretty clear, or in my opinion is pretty clear, the triangular shape that we're trying out, the kind of structure that's going to make it look a little bit more like a real, well, maybe not a pallet fork, but something like a bale lifter would have had that sort of shape. That actually looks quite good in my opinion. That is pretty much how I was hoping it would turn out. One thing I don't like though is how the support for the end of the link arm is protruding from our triangular shape. I think we can just remove that and push the whole thing in so that the ends of the link arms sit inside the rectangular sections that you can see just below those protrusions. One thing's for sure though, it's definitely a vast improvement in terms of detail when compared to my original pallet fork. So here you can see the original pallet fork, which in fairness worked very well, although it was simplistic. But I was kind of making it to the limitations of my printer. If I tried to print the model on the right using my Prusa i3 style printer, I've no doubt that the thinner sections would have failed, and the reason for that would have been that the material just wouldn't have been able to cool down quick enough, so it would have remained too hot and too flexible, and then the next layer wouldn't have been deposited. Although that said, I've no doubt that someone with experience with FDM printers would be able to set it up so that it would print correctly, but I just don't have that level of experience. The other real difference with the original model is that I had to use copper wire as the interlocking components to mate to the link arms of the tractor, so there's a little bit of a difference there, and again it's because I wouldn't have been able to get that part to print successfully. Even though our print kind of failed to some extent, it still was successful enough that we can actually test the fitment. We can see that the part fits nicely enough onto the link arms of, this is a Siku model here, but we can see that the end of the fork is pointed up, so that's going to be a bit of an impediment when we try to pick up a pallet. It won't be too difficult to fix that though. All we have to do is move the cylinder that mates to the link arm, just move that down slightly and we should be fine. We also need to make sure that it's going to work on the Britains models. They are quite similar, but there's slight differences. But it looks like the same story here. The fitment is okay, but the fork is still standing too high, so we'll need to sort that out. So we have a few things that we're going to have to fix in the next video. We're going to move that protrusion, well actually just remove it completely and shorten the distance from the cylinder back into the frame, and also lower the cylinder so that the end of the fork will hit the ground, so that the fork is basically flat on the ground when we have the link arms lowered. So that shouldn't be too difficult to sort out, and hopefully some of you are following along with the builds, designing your own parts in Fusion as we're doing it. And I'm trying to keep things up to date on the website as we're going with this series, so hopefully you're checking that out. There's also some of the electronics and the software I'm trying to update as well. And if you're enjoying the series, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get the bell on so that you get the notifications. But that's all I have for today, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks very much for watching.